Anyways, jump right into it here. So we've got the new proven winner barberry that was first time for us this year was mini saffron. So we got to watch it grow a little bit last year. This is the first time we had it for sales here this spring. We're really getting to see how it pops out this year. So far, it looks like it's got some pretty good resistance to black spot. So it's a good gold barberry, nice tight grower, low grower. So it's got some good attributes here. It looks like it's going to be pretty low maintenance. Nice gold color that you can see there. And we got some good availability, about 500 there. So nice introduction there. So see what you can do with sales on that one. Next is Grassoma's grass. This has been around quite a while. Good adaptable grass, well known out there. This one here is in 2 gallons, so it's got a great price point for people who are a little more price conscious out there. Push this grass out there for that. We'd like to get these moved this spring. This won't last quite as long through the season, so we'd really like to see these move out. Remember, on the grass, right now is the time to be spraying for rust. We do have a rust spray program in the nursery, so be aware of that. You want to be spraying for rust, try to keep the foliage relatively dry throughout the day as much as you can. Very hardy, adaptable grass, and we have 400 of these available. Next, Salix Hikura or dappled willow. This one here is all about the foliage, the swirls of pinks and whites and greens in the leaf, and you can really see here now we've been waiting for that to happen. You need to get a little sunlight for that really to happen. It will stay green, obviously, because it needs more chlorophyll when it's kind of the dreary, wet, foggy days like we've been having. But now, since we're getting a little bit of sun, finally, you start getting more of that color. And the more sun that we get, the more those pinks will really start to show out, which you can see in the photo. We're starting to get those white swirls on the tips. So now is a good time really to push that out there, promote it. It is a fast-growing willow. Can really handle wet areas, tough areas, heavy clay soils. Very adaptable. This is for excellent looking crop here. You can see there we'll be looking at starting to bloom here in a couple of weeks. Really like this plant. This is a nice compact grower. Not a dwarf by any means, but it really is a low maintenance plant. Very formal looking plant. Doesn't get rangy or out of hand like some of the spirals can. It is not a program plant, but it hasn't really been around for too long. But it gets real nice white clusters of flowers. But we really like it because it's very, very uniform, really low maintenance, and it's a great low maintenance plant for the landscape. So that's really why it's a nice plant to take a look at. Excellent resistance to black spot as well, so it's going to look really nice in the landscape out there. Next is Spirea Big Bang. This is a proven winter plant. Does have a nice big pink flower, but it also has a lot of color to it. Oranges and yellows you can see there. So it has interest all year long. So it's not just when it's blooming, right off the bat in the spring. This thing's been showing color, one of the first spireas early on to be showing good foliage color. Blooms will be coming on here in a couple of weeks. And, just real big bracts of blooms will be popping out here soon. So this is a great plant to load up on here towards the end of May and into June. So this is something you really want to be promoting. Excellent plant to be landing out there to make your garden centers successful, bringing in customers, bringing in color. So good plant to be talking about. Next is Syringa Miss Kim. This here is definitely towards the landscape wholesale. You can see here the blooms are just starting. This is, we'll call it kind of a semi-dwarf kind of plant. This is kind of the last lilac in a series, excluding the rebloomers. So it is a nice fragrant, very tough as far as lilacs go. Good disease resistance, and it just kind of extends that season out there. It is not a rebloomer, okay? So it'll bloom here towards the end of the month. You can see there the flower is forming. It'll pop out here, start to pop out here in another 10 days and finish off the month.
Something else you threw in, Dutsia Nico. Usually this is flowered out. As you can see, it's just starting to flower. Nice full as far as bud set on it. So these are really going to be awesome looking plants. The house behind it's pretty well loaded with them. So still a good supply of these. Like I said, they're really nice looking plants. Told David to go ahead and put the ITEA on. So we've got pictures of Little Henry and Straight Henrys. Make sure that your customer knows what they're getting. They are pushing quite well right now, and along with this heat and the way the weather is, they're going to keep coming. So these would be relatively full plants, but we didn't want to wait too much longer to get them on inventory. So you took these yesterday. So these are yesterday pictures. So we should see quite a difference between now and Monday. But this is where we're at with them.
I think you're pretty much in lockstep with ones in the landscape.
I haven't looked at any in the landscape, but yeah, they've really come a long way this last week. And like I said, with these warmer nights right now, this stuff's really starting to push. So they'll blow right up. This block of East Friesland's back in 3B. It's kind of sitting there. I don't know if it's been forgotten about. This is a good salvia. You can see there's nice looking plants there. Just wanted to move through these, just get it up in front of everyone so you can see what they look like. But these are really nice. We've talked about Sambucus in the past. This has got all three of the black-leafed ones. So just be aware of what we've got here. This is the way they look right now. We've gone through the black lace like we always do. There were some dead tips. They went back through and took those out as well. So you can see it really looks nice. And then your two uprights. We've talked about most of the euonymus. Put Green Lane in. This is one of the ones we haven't talked about. It's a nice ground cover. It's actually an improved selection of Sarcoxy, which is an old one that we grew back in the day. This one we've never really seen a lot of leaf issue with. Survived winters very well. You see in the picture there on the little platform, those were trimmed about 2 weeks ago. So remember, we've usually come in the last week of April, put a light trim on the euonymus. That gives you a nice fuller plant and takes the long spindly shoots off of it. There again, these plants like medium well-drained sites. They're pretty forgiving. They're pretty bulletproof. Not a whole lot you can do to destroy them. Simsifuga Hillside Black Beauty. This is one that we got last year to replace Acetea. Our Simsifuga Black Negligee. This one gets around 4 to 7 foot high and 3 to 4 foot wide. It will flower late summer, fall. It's more of a white flower, but you can see the picture. It really stands out when you drive by on T6 with that black purplish foliage. So that's the main reason why we continue to grow it. It's a nice background plant. It does need to be in partial shade. Geranium Max Fried. Main reason for getting this one is the hardiness. This is a zone 3. It's also a nice little dwarf. The pictures that we got off the internet as well as what we have back in 3B. You can see they're all pretty much alike. This is only a 6 to 9, 6 to 12 inch high plant. It will spread upwards of about 1 to 2 feet, but it is a very nice little plant from what we've seen this year. It's a cross between purple and red. It really sticks out when you look at it. Medium well-drained soils for geraniums. You don't want to get them in a place where there's a high moisture content that doesn't drain off. And one of the other notes on that, most geraniums will have good fall color for in the fall, yellows to reds. This one in particular is saying it's red, so keep that in mind as well. Put a couple of the oak leaves in. Alice is one of the standbys that we've always gone to. This is the biggest as far as size-wise of what we grow. It will get 5 to 8 foot tall and wide. This plant, we also come through and trim dormant in March. So you can see here that they break really nice, gives you a nice full plant. These will bloom later on in June and July. We will see flowers on these as well. This is a long panicle type. You can see in the picture there. The other advantage to this plant is it has good fall color. And then once you get into the winter, it also has exfoliating bark similar to a paperbark maple, Acer griseum. Ruby slippers is one that we added a number of years ago. I believe this is a USDA selection. The main reason we added this was it's a shorter plant. If you look at the height there, it's 3 to 4 foot high, 3 to 5 feet wide, so it's a lot shorter plant. It also is, the flowers will open white, but as they fade, these fade more to this rosy red color. The oak leaves eventually turn to brown once they get into full season. But this gives you a nice all season long as far as color in the summer, and then going into the fall, like all oak leaves, it has good fall color. They do prefer medium well-drained soils. They seem to do a little bit better in partial shade than if you put them in full sun. Especially with Alice, we've noticed that, but they do a good job in full sun as well. One of the new ones that we added, the center picture there up against the spruce, you can barely make it out right there where the cursor is, but this is Ligustrum straight talk. This one is very tight, very columnar. As you can see, they say 12 foot high and only 2 foot wide. From a growing perspective, what we found is if we trim it, it usually kind of stops, especially if we trim it. First year we trimmed it like a normal privet in midsummer, and it did not grow from there. So they are fleshing out really nice. If you look at that picture on the lower left, you can see what they look like. These are very tough plants. They survive very well. I think it's a zone 3 hardiness. For nice narrow areas where you want some height, this would be a good plant for that. And they say you can use it as a hedge as well. Threw a picture in of my Monet. Everyone kind of really knows about this one. It has variegated foliage. We do keep it under plastic this time of year to keep some of the moisture off. You can see what they look like there. You've got really nice contrast with that dark pink flower along with the variegated leaves and that fresh flush of growth on it. This is a very dwarf plant. It's only going to get 12 to 18 inches high and 18 to 24 wide, so it's a very slow growing plant as compared to other white GAs. They do need a well-drained soil. They won't tolerate major wet areas. And they do their best in partial shade. If you put them in full sun, they will have a tendency, that foliage, especially when you get in July and August, those edges will burn.